Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage huntsville. Y'all know why y'all here. Anything I say is alleged in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal, and the Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. So a couple housekeeping things, some meat and potato items. It is free to follow me. It is free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. It's free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea. I can't talk today. Anonymous Tea Podcast. Got content coming over there today. TikTok. I promise I got content coming over there today on Anonymous Tea Podcast. For as long as we'll have TikTok, I don't even know. Anonymous Reality Tea on the Instagram. On the Instagrammies, please follow me over there. It is free. Free. Also, it is free, you guys, to share everywhere, to share these videos everywhere, so that it gets out there in these YouTube streets. All right, so today we are on part 4 of Mel's live recap. So where we left off previously in the last video was that Mel was going in on whoever was in charge of writing the synopsis for the reunion episodes, in which they were calling Mel in her double standards and saying that Mel is allegedly grooming Destiny. So she is in the timeline phase of kind of trying to show chronologically between the pandemic, between the times that she interacted with Destiny and her then husband Leberick. It was all couples based. There wasn't many personal interactions that Mel had, and when we did see them, it had to do with filming. But nonetheless, you know, she only knew Destiny because of Martel, because he was best friends with Leberick, right? And so, nonetheless, she feels, again, like these people are puppets, and then here's where she comes in for the puppeteer, who we can presume is Carlos King, right? And how they cut certain scenes out, but they don't have the, the gall to cut out some of these episode descriptions and these titles out and what they want to actually show in the episode. And so, again, lack of proof, lack of due diligence. Mel is going to do something. She's going to take action over trying to tarnish her legacy. Also feels as well that, all these people were silent when Mel was dealing with all these things. When Mel was dealing with the revenge P, when Mel was dealing with the cheating husband and the husband that got, her ex-husband that got the concubine pregnant and all the things. It was the mute challenge, but now all of a sudden you have all the sympathy for another cast member, i.e. Destiny. Now all of a sudden you're bending over backwards to show all this support, and all it just proves is you never liked Mel, you never cared about Mel's pain or what she went through. You hated her, you were jealous of her, you were envious of her, because any person, right or wrong, you are going to have empathy, no matter if you're on good terms with them or not. And the fact that they just refuse to have, any type of sympathy or anything for Mel just shows their true colors, right? And so Mel is reviewing different text messages of Destiny being obsessed with her, trying to contact Mel several times, trying to insert herself on different things that Mel is doing, when it details on where Mel's performance was, if Mel went out of town for something. Destiny's inviting herself and the son to be involved the next time. And, I think 4 or 5 days went by one time where Destiny was mad that Mel didn't get back with her in a certain amount of time, and said how much she missed her and all this and that. And, she's trying to show examples that what example did I ever groom Destiny? And if I'm so bad, if I'm so inappropriate, why did I watch her son on multiple occasions? Whether it was she had a massage appointment or she had an issue with a babysitter that flaked out, and Mel was there to watch Law, or if they'd be at the house and Destiny had to take care of some things, Mel would watch Law and tell her to, do X, Y, and Z. And nonetheless, this is around the time there's witnesses when she's had, her best friend Britt at the house and everything else. She's tried to give Destiny so many breaks. And in between that, the other time was when they were all in their couple. So when was this time for this grooming and this inappropriate stuff to go on? And so she feels as though as well that,
a lot of the issues stem from the production team of allowing things to go completely haywire, out of control, and completely, out of order. Also, Mel said that she's kind of her brothers kind of called her a loner, but she said she doesn't really like to be around a lot of people like that. She can be by herself, and she was raised by herself. She said she's a dreamer, and not too much gets past her. And she said she's been able to, shoulder most of the attacks that has happened over the course of the time of the show. But she said essentially this past year in particular, it has just been out of control. It has been completely out of order. And then, again, you only want to stand up now because you're worried about what secrets, Martell or somebody else has on you. So now all of a sudden you want to, try to get yourself sympathy and get yourself fans by now revealing things what people already knew, what we've been already saying out in these YouTube streets for a long time. And, what happened to standing up for what is right? What happened to knowing the difference between right or wrong, regardless of what your status is of the friendship with the person? And why don't you stand up when they're being attacked? And so, nonetheless, Mel walked away from a cheating husband. She was a good wife to him, and he didn't appreciate it. And, he flipped it around and made y'all convinced that it was her that was doing all this harm. But he is the one that is still out here moving completely mad, moving completely reckless, moving like he's somebody who is desperate for the check. And so, at some point, the respect is gone. The respect is gone. The, decorum is gone because you've showed yourself too many times. And so then Mel talks about Tisha, but she doesn't say her name. But I know it was Tisha because she's referenced this story before. And she said about a couple of years ago, Tisha reached out to her for a business question as well as something that was going on in her personal life. I can presume probably problems with Marceau, probably on the brink of divorce and ending it all for good. She reached out to Mel, asked Mel for advice and all this and that. Mel never said anything about it, and to this day, she's never going to say anything about that conversation. But Mel was giving that example to show that, hey, I'm a loyal friend. I don't spray your tea out here, unlike Destiny and others who can't wait to tell anybody's business for the sake of trying to get camera time and clicks and views. And, nonetheless, there's all these attacks, Mel's been staying silent. She's been staying quiet while all these attacks are happening. And, knowing already what was the truth and what wasn't the truth. So then Mel said something else. She says she wants you to keep in mind a word called workplace retaliation. And basically said that is to say that if somebody doesn't move in the way that your superior wants you to move, then they're going to flip it around on you and attack your entire existence. And that's essentially, and then she spilled some more tea, basically alluding to, I assume this is Carlos King she's speaking about, asked if they could be Mel's manager. And I thought to myself, And so Mel did not accept that offer for them to be their manager. And as a result, and Mel said she has proof of this conversation or proof of this request. And then she noticed all HELL breaks loose. This was all on a Zoom when this happened. And she's not going to show her hand too much on this. But basically, she turned it down. She turned down the offer. Next thing she knows, everything about her, they're just going hard in the paint on the show. Anything you can think of, it is somehow Mel's fault. Mel is the scapegoat. And so this is the piece in this where I think the obvious. I think Carlos King, whenever this happened, knew that Mel was the only star on the show, knew that Mel was the only one that is willing to be vulnerable, to be open about her life, has been the most open of her life out of the 9 seasons. So Carlos King wanted to tap in, wanted to be a part of the money train, and also wanted to, allegedly, utilize any type of ideas, any type of potential other shows, any other type of potential storylines, anything that is on Mel's brain to be of assistance, because Mel also spoke on some heavy hitters that she has recommended for this show, and she's told the people who to reach out to in production, and come to find out, production never even contacted them. They never even bothered. So there are specific people that they want for this show, and that is all ties to Martell. All types of side chicks in Huntsville, please apply and make this show as raunchy and as nasty as ever. But Carlos King saw Mel and knows that she's a star, and he wants a piece of the pie. He wants a cut of the check. He wants that manager percentage, y'all. But I think also, I don't think it was designed for him to find her other opportunities. I think it's designed for Mel to keep it so that he can have this hold on Mel, that she can go nowhere else and will have to be stuck in the Love and Marriage Huntsville umbrella. And it makes me wonder, these other cast members that go so hard defending Carlos King, are you a part of that alleged manager contract situation? Is Carlos King trying to feed you all these lies and all these promises of the great beyond, that you're going to blow up, that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, only for none of it to come to fruition, and him giving you lip service? But then on the flip end, you see Mel making all these moves without Carlos King being her manager. That's what it's giving, y'all. It's giving Carlos King wants to stifle his own talent, but wants to use their brains for ideas for other shows or other ideas to line his pockets back, and give zero credit and zero recognition to where he originally got it from. Because as you can see, without Mel being involved, he's completely lost. Carlos King has a one-track mind. His one-track mind was Mel and Tel, and that was it. He was under the assumption that Mel and Tel would get back together and would run the show and everything else. But that wasn't going to happen. And even at the height of it all, with all of the drama of Mel and Tel fighting, Carlos King is still contacting Martell, telling him that him and Mel need to take the show back. Because he knows that the Scotch 1.0 and the Scotch 2.0 are not bringing the material, aren't bringing the content to sustain the show. And for the upteenth time, where is the season renewal? Are y'all really just filming scenes just to film scenes for just in case purposes? That sounds absolutely insane. I've never heard of anything like that before. Doesn't all production need to stop and be on pause until there's official confirmation that the show comes back? It's giving between the lawsuit and potentially whatever else Mel's got going on, because even if a lawsuit hasn't been filed by her yet, you can't tell me that she hasn't talked to the higher ups at OWN and or Discovery about what she's going on, about her concerns and everything else. Because if you pay attention, she's still following OWN and OWN Keep It Real and Discovery. Her issue is with production, which is Carlos King, Kingdom Reign Entertainment, and how they have completely abused their power to make Mel look like she is the most despicable person on earth. Meanwhile, the people who are actually doing this despicable acts are being presented as angels and victims on the show. Meanwhile, you have multiple court cases that say otherwise as it pertains to what Mel is actually going through, and you want to villainize her on this show. No. It's not going to work. So that is all that I got for this video. What do you guys think of Carlos King trying to manage Mel? And I think it was in part to try to stifle her opportunities so that Carlos King could basically be the one to own Mel when it is all said and done. And I am glad she declined, because I think she realized that if the likes of Carlos King is asking to be my manager, that must mean I've got so much star quality, he doesn't want to lose me to anybody else. But Mel now is taking charge of her own brand and is going to do her own thing, and it's going to be successful. So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.